Okay. All right. So, how do you battle invisible battles as an entrepreneur? Again, how do you battle invisible invisible invaders as an entrepreneur? And you're like, Sharon, what are invisible invaders as an entrepreneur? Well, first of all, as an entrepreneur, you're dealing with all kind of stuff anyway. If anyone doesn't tell you that, or tell you, or try to make it seem like, like other stuff you see on social media, they just leaving out the stuff that happens in the background, the real work, where the real work is. And with entrepreneurship, if no one has ever told you, it is going to test every part of you, every aspect of you is going to show up. It's going to show you your weaknesses, unresolved issues, your wounds, your shadows. It's going to show all of those. But it's going to also show your strength as well. So don't you ever forget that. But it's all for you because of the fact that you're not going to be able to truly show up. I'll put it like that. But in saying that, for those of you who have been chosen to have a calling, to have a purpose for your movement, for your ministry, for your mission, there's work to be done. And in that, because the thing is that a lot of times, especially for those of us who have purpose and calling, sometimes you can forget about you, and we're not going to do that. Your wellness, your well-being is just as important than anything else. And you can do it unconsciously of leaving yourself out. Some of it kind of comes from, especially for us as women, it's like we're always giving. And there's nothing wrong with that. But one thing that I will say, if you're not intentional about giving to yourself, then you'll leave yourself behind. That has happened to me. I mean, I don't mind giving, but I didn't realize, even as a therapist, I didn't even realize how important it is for me to feed myself. One example of that is I've always liked affirmations. I always liked affirmations. Ever since I was introduced to poems when I was in high school, affirmations has just always been my thing. But what I didn't realize was that I thought I just liked affirmation. And it wasn't until it was later in life, and I say when I had certain experiences, certain stressors, that I realized like, oh, I didn't just like affirmation, I am affirmation. And somewhere within my life too, I had stopped like reading because I used to, buy books, buy Hallmark cards and different things. And I just liked it. That's all I thought, And of course, I'm, uplifting and inspiring other people. But somewhere and I couldn't even tell you why I stopped. But when I'm telling you, the way that we are made, like even though we're hardwired for connection, I'm going to tell you, it may not be in the way that you think. It may not be in the way that you think. But the thing is, whatever that you are seeking from others, those are the things you give to yourself because of the fact that when you don't receive them from other people, you feel a certain kind of way, and even your spirit, you know what I'm saying? But those are the things you really give to yourself, and in loving yourself and in talking to yourself, of giving yourself those things. So, as I was saying, in that, how to battle the invisible invaders that come upon you. The invisible invaders can be the personal attacks that people may, project upon you, especially being on social media. Everyone is not going to agree with you. So how do you handle that? That's an invisible attack, an invisible invader. And especially if you have like self-doubt or imposter syndrome, those are invisible invaders. You can't see them. You can't put your hands on it. You can feel it, and you can even feel it in your body. So the thing is, what are you doing to combat that? Other invaders can be psychological, spiritual invaders, as well as energy. I mean, you can definitely sometimes when you walk in a room, you can brighten up a room, and when somebody else walk in the room, you can feel their energy, but you can also feel the energy. It's like, oh, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And so if you do not have a plan of action of how you are going to address those things, then you're going to be left behind, not just in your calling, but those things are going to attack you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, and even financially, believe it or not. Because somewhere down the line, in that, those invaders, those attacks, when they end up being in your being, it's going to impact you physically. So you end up, being heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure, ulcers, so many other things as well. So that is why self-care is really so important. And when it comes to being an entrepreneur, self-care is strategic. It's not just about, like getting the rest and everything. That's just like right now, self-care for me is having this jacket on because for whatever reason, when the heat is on, especially when I'm up during the day, sometimes it can be too hot. So I just prefer to have a jacket, but I'm going to take it off for a few minutes here. So, do y'all remember the movie Independence Day with Will Smith and who is it? Jeff Goldberg. I think that's his last name. Y'all remember that movie? I know everybody remember Independence Day. It was a bit hit on the 4th of July. I kind of call it the 4th of July movie. And it's one of those movies that I have seen like many times, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. But think about one scene, or even just the gist of the movie. With Independence Day, it's like the aliens came, they saw the aliens. So sometimes you can see who is attacking you, but you may not always know how they are attacking you. But then when you try to attack them back, they have a force field. And remember when they were, they got, I don't know, I don't drive, I'm saying I don't drive. I don't fly no airplanes, especially those that shoot. So I don't know the terminology of all of this. But the thing is that the aliens had an upper hand because of the fact they had a force field, and it was an invisible force field that the people on planet Earth could not see. They had all the fancy weapons and everything, but they could not see the force field and they could not penetrate it. So when it comes to you and your business, when it comes to you and your well-being, when it comes to you and your calling, in order for you to continue your calling and your purpose and your mission and your movement, you got to create a force field. And how do you create that force field? Where did Will and Jeffrey had to go? They had to go inside, I'm going to call it the motherland. I don't remember what they had called it in the movie at the time, but they had to go to the motherland. They had to go to the source. So you do too. You would need to go inside your source, inside of you, so you can build up the momentum to build up the things that you need so that others cannot attack you. So that means in taking time, take 5 to thrive so that you can have that force field. Because a lot of times what ends up happening, you ended up focusing so much on giving, so much on giving to others, so much of just like, hey, I just gotta give, I gotta give, I gotta give. I have this calling, I have this purpose. I was. But if you're not giving to yourself, and then if you're not protecting or building a force field so that others cannot get inside of you, so that others cannot attack you, so that if someone is attacking your brand, attacking you, you will be okay. It will rub off of your skin. And that is what you want. And so with Will and Jeffrey, again, they had to go into the motherland. They had to go with all of the attackers were. So, oh man, this is good. This is good, y'all. This is good. Just think about it. You going inside yourself with all the self-doubts, the limited beliefs, childhood wounds, all of that. People projecting on you. And even when it comes to running a business, is this working? How much more do I have to do when I'm going to get results? Am I really, made for this? All kind of things come up. But that means to go inside of yourself so that you can build yourself up and attack the enemy, attack the aliens that doesn't belong there. And that is what Jeffrey and Will Smith had to do. They had to go into the den, into the motherland of the enemy, so that they can penetrate the force field. And sometimes we need to do that within ourselves, whether that is in sitting in silence, whether that is in breathing, so that you can have the mental capacity to do the things what needs to be done. And we don't do enough of that. And this is one of the reasons that I talk about self-care, so that you can build up an immunity so that when invaders come, you're going to be okay, that you do not break under pressure. And then not only that, you want it built up so that others cannot penetrate your force field, because you want to build a force field. So it's twofold. You're building a force field, but you're also getting rid of the invaders. And these are invisible because you don't even see it. And sometimes you don't even look at it as an attack. But it is. Because if you do not build up a force field within yourself, then other people can take you down. You can be called off your calling. You can get distracted and go the other way. You can slow down, and other people may be waiting on you. But it's important for you to build that up. So, just like in Independence Day, go inside the enemy layer so that you can knock out the invisible invaders that may be inside of you. And then at the same time, so that you can build up the confidence and all the things that is necessary for you to stay in the game. Because if you do not have that force fill up, and your force fill comes into the things that you are saying, the self-talk, the beliefs, are you following your own principles? Because sometimes, y'all, we be violating our own principles. I know that I'm not the only one who's ever done that. And just to move back just a moment, even before Will Smith and Jeffrey went into the enemy den, they had to, they did have an aircraft, but they had to build it up. Again, I don't do any aircraft, so I can't tell you all the little, terminology, but I know something had to be added so that they can, when it came to the main source that was causing the alien invasion, the mothership, I think that's what it was called. They had to go into the mothership. So if anything, you want to make sure your mothership is built up so that others cannot invade it, that you will have that force field and you will be ready. But these come into the rituals that you have on a daily basis, because most of you are pretty good of having rituals in the mornings and rituals in the evenings. But we need the rituals throughout the day, because people just don't be attacking you, or the invisible invaders. And sometimes they're not always, when it comes, and I do want to say, when it comes to other people, sometimes it's not always intentional. Sometimes it could be the way that you perceive them. Who knows? But either way, it's about you building yourself up. You're having an invisible force field so that the invaders, so that the stressors of life cannot be. And this is also when it comes to healthy eating, when it comes to exercising, when it comes to relaxing, when it comes to challenging yourself, is the things that you need in order to be human. It's the things that you need to be well. Because we are no longer saying we're all of this and that, and you're not taking care of yourself. Because what is the use? Things can happen, and I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the prevention and being proactive of being well. We have too much, should I say, information, too many tools and techniques and rituals that that you can integrate through your day to be well. And taking 5 to thrive wellness boosters is one of the ways that you can do that. It's like, how can you be you? What do you need to do to be authentic? Do you notice the things that's around you? Are you integrating movement throughout your day? Is building up your immune system in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, in your soul. But it does take work in order to do that. And especially for those of us who have been caregivers. Anytime I think about my mom and my stepdad, especially my mom, she was just trying to raise us. And when you're working in certain environments, especially in a factory, those things could be hard for some people. And then if someone end up having surgery or stroke, no one asked for that. But I will also say, we're in a different time. The information that we have now, my mom didn't have all of that then. And for those of you who are parents, how do you want your children and grandchildren to be with you? How do you want to be when you are older? Do you want them to look after you or take care of you? And y'all, with some of this, you have control over it by building a force field. So be like Will and Jeffrey. Go into the mothership, go inside yourself, build yourself up. It's not just the affirmation, it's your belief system and your principles. It's the boundaries that you put in place. It's you're saying no, is you're saying yes, if you're taking risk. All of those things build you up. And then, not only that, because this is something I'm still working on, it's like, okay, I can do all of that. It's like, oh, you mean to tell me I got to go and maybe even attack someone? Meaning you may need to have certain conversations with people. You may have to set limits and set boundaries on those things. Those are the attacks. So meaning you may need to go into the enemy den in order to address certain things. This comes in partnership, in business, in relationship, and even in friendship. It comes in collaboration. It's not just to feel good, because of the fact, just as you may be disappointed, you may disappoint others, and that's okay. It's to build up the willpower to say, hey, you're okay for disappointing others, because you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. That's not going to happen at all. So in being an entrepreneur, it's not just the business of it, it's you. You're part of it. It's not just your brand, it's the human side. Because if you are not taken care of, you will not be taken care of. And you have the power to do that. And for those of you, the other thing I'm going to say about this, y'all, we cannot do this all by yourself. I even need reminders. How much I love self-care, I need reminders in certain area. And then when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to running a business, there's areas of it that's a part of self-care. Like for instance, when it comes to batching and planning is a part of self-care, because what you take care of today, it leaves and creates space for you later. You don't have to have a headache. You're not stressing yourself out. Self-care comes in so many different forms. Again, we are not here. We are changing the patterns of what has happened in our own family. And again, I'm not talking about, I know people who've done all those things and they still had a heart attack. I'm not talking about that. Yes, those things can happen. But one thing I can also say is for individuals who are actively taking care of themselves, their approach to cancer, their approach to having a heart attack and stroke is different. And sometimes their recovery is different too. So when you're in a mindset, when you're in a lifestyle of taking 5, because you are erasing, you're eliminating, you're detaching yourself from the stressors that come. That's really what it's all about. Because again, it's all invisible, but it gets attached to you. And if you do not, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to let it go. No, you have to actively do something. Sometimes actively do something is you have to really tell yourself, you have an intrusive thought. Okay, this is where meditating on the word, you get an affirmation, you get, a scripture out of the Bible, or you listening to something that's positive. So all of that is really important. And so for those of you who want to sustain your sanity, thrive under pressure, come into the circle. I created the Fortitude Free Circle because just as humans, we need that. We're hardwired for connection, but we're hardwired for connection so that you can thrive. Because what it said, when you surround yourself with 5 people, either you're going to thrive or you're not. So get into the circle. It's to help entrepreneurs to stay well and to use self-care as a superpower to supercharge that, to supercharge your self-care, because we don't do enough of it. There's still some areas I can improve on. The well-being part of self-care and the other things that can be considered as self-care too. So for those of you who are interested in the circle, comment circle. Otherwise, you like this video, you share this video, and I want to know how this has resonated with you. It's another way of looking at Independence Day, right? Because there are times in which we need to get onto the mothership within ourselves and to extract the aliens within. And sometimes those aliens and those invaders can be our own thoughts, our own stuff. And so, I really enjoyed talking with you all today. And let me know how this has resonated you. And I am looking forward to seeing you all in the circle, because the best of us, we can't even do it by ourselves. We need to be surrounded by diverse, like-minded people to help remind us, give us those nudges, be cheerleaders, and then sometimes to challenge us. Most of the time we need to be challenged. Like, girl, you know you need to be doing that. That's me sometimes. But anyway, I will see y'all next time, and I look forward to hearing from you.